Next, trusting your seller. Now, I think most sellers try to be honest with you. Occasionally you'll run into somebody that won't tell you about something and hope that you won't find out. But in most cases, they try to be honest with you. And I'm telling you, when Joe Seller calls me and asks me, I'm ready to get rid of this house, can you come out today? And we had that happen. In fact, we're going to talk about a deal like that later. I listen to everything he tells me, and I believe every word he says sitting at the kitchen table. It's my job to complete my due diligence after the fact. Okay. But if it sounds like a great deal, man, I am writing it up. You write it up and you check it out during your due diligence period. Now, and I'll give you a really good example of why that's important. And we see investors do this time and time again. They think they have a good deal. They get on social media. They talk about it. Well, I met with a seller today that's got a 2.5% interest rate loan, and he just wants to get out, and I'm not sure what I should do. Yeah, in fact, when I first met Jody, we did this to her in our coaching group. She came on talking about this deal. You remember that, don't you? Yes. And there were two of us in there that said, listen, if you're not going to go out there and get it under contract right now, we want the address. We're going to call this seller.
I'm like, I'll do it. I'll do it. Okay.
Right. And it was her first sub too. So, you know, and this is where we're talking about these things today. If I'm talking to Joe and I'm sitting there and it all looks really good, I'm going to write that contract up, because remember, the contract is subject to verification of all of these facts. So if the seller told me he owed $250 and it turns out he owes $350, then we got to talk again, right? Yeah, that's going to change some things.
I did buy it, by the way. I did buy it. I make $24,000.
That's right. She did. And she did a bunch of stuff herself. She checked stuff out. I think you got a current owners and encumbrances report from the title company. You drafted your own deed, didn't you? And recorded it at the courthouse.
I can do this. This isn't.
That's right. She did all that stuff. She did a great job and made $24,000. So I got this house under contract. This was several years ago. I got a house under contract. Actually, this guy was in foreclosure, and I'd sent him some postcards, and he said, meet me at 6 o'clock. So I drove up there at 6 o'clock, and I'm sitting there, and there's another car, and I know he's meeting with another investor because he'd already told me he had another appointment. So this guy comes out, gets in his car and leaves, and I go up, knock on the door, take the tour of the house, listen to the guy telling me how much he owed, and I saw the condition of the house and everything. So what did I do? I got it under contract because I'm a believer, you know, in ready, fire, aim. And that's what we tell our students in our coaching group. I got it under contract and said, okay, I'll sort it out. It sounds really good. Well, subsequently, we bought the house and we started doing a little bit of fix up on it. And we're a couple of days into fix up. And always, when you're fixing your house up, put your We Buy Houses sign in the front yard. That way, you know, nobody will mess with that sign, and perhaps you can buy something else in the neighborhood. So this investor calls me and he says, hey, he says, I had a verbal agreement with that seller. I met with him before you did. And I said, well, why didn't you get it under contract? And he said, well, I didn't have any contracts with me. And I said, well, I bet you start carrying them in your car now.
Lesson learned.
That's right. You know, and that was the only difference. He didn't come prepared to buy that house. He wanted to go meet with the seller, talk about it, go look at some stuff, and then
work the numbers and
make an offer. No, you do that stuff during your due diligence process. Okay. That's when you do it. So. Hey guys, thanks for watching. While you're here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out these other great videos and podcast episodes.